We return to the Biden scandals, which is a topic that the mainstream media does not wish to cover, but I do, and others of my colleagues here at Fox wish to cover it. The question now, among other things, is how the Biden web of corruption will impact the 2024 presidential election, regularly scheduled. Joining me now, we are totally power-driven. Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman and former Oversight Committee chair himself, and Fox News contributor, fellow at the Government Accountability Institute, and author of The Puppeteers. Wow. Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor and Fox News contributor, and Joe Concha, media and politics columnist for The Messenger and Fox News contributor and author of Come On Man. We truncated that, but
Thank you.
Come On Man was a horrible, terrible, ugly presidency. I'd like to put that in. It's a good selling point, you know. I'm a branding guy. I like the brand thing.
It's no longer Moby Dick. You have to have like the whole paragraph for a book title.
It's all right. It's good. Jason Chaffetz, welcome back to the set. You have been through this. I just wanted to know, I asked Mr. Comer, I actually asked Newt Gingrich last night. They are headed towards something called an impeachment inquiry. Fine. I had two questions on it. Maybe you can help out. One is, would such an inquiry require a vote, a resolution of some kind in the House? And secondly, in order to expand the scope of the investigation and give them more subpoena power, because you're not going to get any help from Merrick Garland's Justice Department and FBI, is that why they require a vote, or do they require a vote, or what do they require? Because I think that's the next stage here.
I do believe they need a vote in the House.
They do.
I do believe it'll make it more powerful. It is more commanding and gives less excuse to the Department of Justice and others to suppress and hold back documents.
And do they get more subpoena power?
Well, your power,
I mean, I don't know
your power is only as good as your ability to enforce it. And unless the Congress has a backbone to actually enforce their subpoenas, they're going to go nowhere.
But they will. I mean, I think
they should.
Well, you tell me.
They should. I haven't seen it. Look, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the Congress stand up for itself.
Because you're the first guy to give me a straight answer on this. I've been asking it all week. People I admire. I mean, I think Comer's done a fine job. Don't get me wrong, but no one has been as direct as you.
I think what you're going to see is the Biden team quickly try to wrap them up and get them into court. But if you have the vote of the House, I think that's much more compelling to the judiciary to say, I'm sorry, but they do get to move forward. You do have to produce these documents.
Charlie, Joe Biden is in complete denial. He is stonewalling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Peter Doocy, our Peter Doocy, asked him about it yesterday, was not happy. So it was a lousy question. He still maintains he didn't know anything about Hunter's business, although it's an odd point. I think it was made by Jonathan Turley, the superb lawyer, that Joe Biden has said his son never took any money from China, but he's not supposed to know what his son's business was. All right, you figure that out.
Exactly.
That's a little Bidenism.
Yeah.
But, Charlie, the politics here, is this story ramping up in the public eye? Is Joe as on the defensive as people like myself and others might suggest?
Well, I think the reason that Joe Biden doesn't answer these questions is because he doesn't have an answer, and whatever answer he might give is going to get him into even more trouble. And I do think that it's starting to seep through. I think that over the last couple of weeks it started to kind of seep through, but it's nothing like it's going to be in a year from now. Mm-hmm. In a year from now, it's going to completely break through all of the roadblocks that the media has tried to put up.
Why is that, Charlie?
I think, because I think, especially, and Donald, nobody's better at prosecuting a case like this in the public eye than Donald Trump.
Indeed.
And I think that if the question, and you had the wonderful questions with Comer about the FARA thing, the registering to lobby forms, it's not a paperwork thing. It's about transparency to know who it is people are working for and who it is that Hunter Biden and his colleagues are working for, and by extension, who is Joe Biden working for? And the more voters feel like this guy is not working for us. My gas prices are high, my grocery prices are high. There's crime in the street. There's there's an invasion at the border. Who's Joe Biden working for? And when people are faced with that question, it takes a scandal like this and puts it on steroids. And then you get a good showman like Donald Trump persecuting the case.
They'll stick it to him.
Oh, yeah.
He'll stick it to him. I think that's a good, really first-rate political point. Joe Concha, I'm not sure. You know, I know this is unethical. I don't know if it's criminal yet. Criminal with respect to the current president, then the vice president, who was engaged in this stuff. Maybe he's still engaged in it. I don't know. I think the lesser lights are going to have big problems with charges. They're not going to get blanket immunity, and that includes Hunter Biden. I frankly don't care about Hunter Biden. But I'm trying to figure out, what did the Chinese get for their lousy investment? We have the chart up. We have a picture of all these investments. I got it somewhere in here. What did they get? What did the Russian? I know the Russian lady probably got immunity from sanctions when they invaded the Crimea and then later on the Ukraine. What did the Kazakhstans get? What did the Romanians get? What did the Chinese get? We can't even find the Chinese guy. One of my senior producers thinks he's lost. You know, he's off the face of the earth now. I mean, they gave money up to $30 million, so far as we know, from these bank accounts. What'd they get?
The answer is obvious, Larry. They got Hunter Biden and Devin Archer's expertise and energy, which goes back decades.
It goes back to minutes.
Exactly, minutes. Yeah. What was the value out again? What were the services provided that got millions upon millions of dollars into the war chest of the Biden family? Went to at least 10 family members, but didn't go to Joe, right? I mean, if you just apply logic to this, it's ridiculous. This is why the president did an in-depth, tough interview this week with the Weather Channel, right? The Weather Channel, which is the 75th ranked channel on television.
And can I just, I don't want to interrupt, Lord knows, but on their website, he wasn't at the top. He was way at the bottom. It was called Other News. I'm sorry.
I didn't see that.
You know, my Cracker Jack producers pointed this out.
Wow, like right next to Dew Point Falls, New Jersey.
The pollen count.
Yeah.
Upper Connecticut. I'm sorry. It's a serious
Should we go to break? Are you going to be okay?
Please continue your rapier-like analysis.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Look, most of the media is miraculously apathetic suddenly in payoffs, bribes, meetings between a then vice president who would become president and his family and high-profile Russians, right? Donald Trump Jr. met with a lawyer once. No money exchanged, apparently nothing exchanged in terms of quid pro quo, and that ran the news cycle for a good month. Now we have actual evidence of this happening, not just in Russia, but in Kazakhstan, Ukraine, China. Again, for services rendered, we have no idea.
Yeah.
And the media, it's silence of the lambs at this point, Larry.
I mean, I understand what the Ukrainians got. I understand what the bereavement people got, okay, if that is true. Right, I know the allegation. I get that. They got a lot. Maybe this mayor's wife, got a little bit for $3.5 million. I don't know what the Chinese got. I don't know what the Romanians got. I don't know what the Kazakhstans got.
I think I do.
What influence? No, please.
In Romania, which is very instructive here, there was a mobster who was being prosecuted for corruption. And they came into Hunter Biden and said, hey, we need your help because we need the Department of Justice in the United States to lean on the Romanian government to lessen the charge. He was up for bribery charges. So Hunter Biden partners with Louis Freeh, the former Clinton FBI director. They go into the Department of Justice. They try to lean on the Romanians. Now, the Romanians still prosecuted this person, but then Louis Freeh comes back to, according to the documentation, comes back and says, hey, we really appreciate the business from the Bidens. As a thank you, please let your dad know, please let Joe Biden know, $100,000 was deposited into Joe Biden's grandkids' account. So he could say, hey, I didn't get any money, but when your grandkids get $100,000 because you opened up the Department of Justice?
Is this Biden family fund that I've been reading about?
I don't know. This is where Comer's got to lay out the actual, but the documentation on Hunter Biden's laptop shows this pattern. Louis Freeh puts the $100,000 into the account, has to pull it back out because the tax treatment wasn't right, put it back in. Hey, by the way, I need your dad's mobile phone so I can call him and thank him, and I need to be able to communicate with him. I saw him at church.
Wow.
In Mexico.
This is important.
In Mexico, Why is it that Joe Biden on Air Force Two brought Hunter Biden and Jeff Cooper, Hunter Biden's business partner, on the plane with him to go to Mexico City when he was vice president? Don't tell me you never had a conversation. Why'd you put him on the manifest to go on Air Force Two?
So you're saying that actually I'm wrong. There's a lot that went on.
Oh,
it may not have been major, but there was a lot that
The
go on.
Chinese wanted to actually do energy business in the United States through an acquisition.
It's not that you're wrong. It's that we don't know,
Right.
and that's the
No,
point.
this is great stuff.
And
you
for-
should run the committee.
Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
for every one of these countries, you can find things like this. For example, with Mexico, Joe Biden has single-handedly created a $1 billion industry down there in human smuggling, not to mention drugs and fentanyl. You know, there are all kinds of, but we don't know.
And
that's
Trump
the
will
point.
punch him out over this.
Yeah.
He will.
And
he
did
will.
the seventh grandchild,
I gotta go.
will she get a retroactive?
This is the Ozark grandchild. I don't know if she's part of the inheritance fund or not. Charlie Hurt, Joe Concha, and former chairman of the Oversight Committee, Jason Chaffetz. Thank you for your info.
Thank
we
you.
got to work on it, Charlie. We have to do our homework. Guys got, guys doing our homework. All right, folks, you can catch Jason Chaffetz co-hosting The Bottom Line tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, with guest Montana Congressman and former Interior Secretary, my great pal, Ryan Zinke, and Alex Epstein, author of Fossil Future. I love Ryan Zinke. He's fabulous stuff.